Hey guys, it's the Coaster Battleman here with an awesome video. My top coasters at Six Flags Great America. You'll find out my non-top 10 coasters at Six Flags Great America and my top 10. Let's move on. Number 13 through 11. Number 13 is the Little Dipper. This ride is the smallest wooden coaster at the park, and it's my least favorite coaster in the park. It's just not that good. It's fine, but it's not that fun. Number 12 is Spacely Sprocket Rockets. This ride is the first roller coaster I ever rode. It's a good ride. I just ride it for the credit these days. Let's move on. Number 11 is the Dark Knight Coaster. This ride has the most theming out of any coaster at Six Flags Great America. The theme is awesome. But unfortunately the layout is just a wild mouse, so that's why it's number 11. Number 10 will cause tons of argument. Batman the Ride. This ride might have a slight rattle, possibly because there was some small headbanging moments on this ride. This ride is good in the front row, but all the other seats on this ride they're just okay. This front row on inverted coasters, you get the best view. All the other seats on this ride stink, which basically kills this ride. Number 9 is the Wizard, which barely beats out Batman the Ride. This ride is a classic Schwarzkopf coaster. It's a family coaster, and it's an Ace Coaster landmark. This ride's very fun, too. Probably one of my favorite family coasters. Number 8 is V2 Vertical Velocity. This ride is very fun. It has a great launch, and it has 2 V spikes, so it's basically a V shape. It's pretty fun, but it's not that long of a ride. Number 7 will cause a ton of argument. It's the Demon. This is my second favorite aerodynamics coaster I ever rode, and this ride is smooth through like half the ride, except for the corkscrews, which are pretty bad inversions, which cause for some headbanging, but this is a fine ride. I like it better than Batman the Ride. And let's move on. Number 6, barely not making the top 5, is Viper. This ride is great with its airtime and twistiness. This ride is very fun and forceful. Especially when you're in the back, you get a rougher ride, but it's more intense when you're in the back. Now for my top 5. Number 5 will cause some argument. X-Flight. Well, this made my top 5, which is pretty good, but this ride is known for being not as forceful as other coasters. I don't think this ride's boring, but it's not as forceful as other rides. But you get to experience a slow motion inversion before the drop, which is pretty cool. But the restraints tighten on you, which is one thing that kills this ride. Number 4, barely not making my top 3, is Superman Ultimate Flight. I prefer this ride over X-Flight. A flying coaster is way more forceful than a wing coaster. And the pretzel loop is very fun. You feel like you're laying on your back. It's pretty cool. This ride's very fun, and probably my favorite flying coaster I ever rode, and the only flying coaster I ever rode. Number 3 is the American Eagle. This ride is a classic. It's a racing wooden coaster. The sides race each other. This ride is in the top 10 coasters I ever rode. This ride is very fun, memorable. The drop is fun. The giant helix is fun. This ride is a great ride. And it's smooth. Number 2 is the Raging Bull. This ride is the B&M Hyper Coaster of the park and the tallest coaster in the park. This ride is very fun, has some great airtime, great twistiness. Not meant for the airtime, but the airtime you get is great. But this could be a number 1 for most people until Goliath showed up. And Goliath's my number 1 coaster at Six Flags Great America and the number 5 coaster I ever rode. This ride is very fun, especially if you're in the back row. I'll tell you something right now. if you're in the back row on Goliath on the orange train, you'll get the most intense ride ever on it. This ride is very fun, has some inversions. This ride has a lot of stuff. And thank you for watching this video of my top roller coasters at Six Flags Great America. Stay tuned for more videos.